So now, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the technical problems. It's normal. So I'm glad that you are all here to hear a little bit about the task 36 on Carnot batteries. I'm going to be showing some of the beginning of the task and also how that evolved. And now we are coming to the end phase of the task 36. So I will also have a couple of words about the follow-up task that we are preparing right now. So exactly. So Carnot batteries. What is a Carnot battery? Within this group, and actually before also, we were discussing about this concept of the Carnot battery, and which that actually is basically it's an emerging technology that has the potential to inexpensively and site independently store electricity in the form of heat and to produce electricity again at large scales. That means that with this prototype or concept, we should be able to store electricity in cheap medium, like, for example, water or molten salt. And afterwards, it should be possible to transform that to electricity again. So it's actually an application of electricity storage for the component thermal energy storage. And it can be a tool for power and heat energy management. As you can see here, there are different concepts to achieve this. So some technological concepts are, for example, for the transformation of the power to thermal energy, we could use either a direct resistance. We could also use different heat pumps based on Rankine cycle, Brayton cycle, or even other concepts. And also, yeah, other possibilities are also there. And then we should be able to store the thermal energy storage. This could be done through the sensible method, latent method, or thermochemical energy storage method. And afterwards, to produce to generate the electricity, again, also some Rankine cycles can be used, or Brayton cycles, or even other possibilities. As you can see in this diagram, you could also use some thermal power to increase the efficiency of the whole system. And when the electricity is produced again, normally we have some low temperature waste heat coming out of through this process. So this is basically how this is done. There's of course, a lot of more complex thermodynamics behind this, but that's the basics to talk about that. So this task 36 started officially in 2020, but we had also some definition phase that was motivated at that time by these problematics, let's say. So the Carnot batteries, as I said, have the potential to solve the global storage problem of renewable electricity in a more economic and environmental way. Since it has the capacity to handle large, very, very large capacities and cheap prices, let's say. That's why it has this possibility. They're having a lot of concepts for Carnot batteries, even up to 2019, but there was no comprehensive techno-economic assessment of this technology. There was at that time only a few laboratory or plant scale demonstration facilities, but they were really well known, and the data was actually only stored locally within the research institution that were carrying on this kind of experiments, let's say, and installations. But there was no indication of sharing this data with anyone or like making this more public. And of course, there was no international platform at that time to share all these results that people were having, even experimental or techno-economical information about this to evaluate the potential of such technologies. So that was the motivation that led us to establish this task 36 and to propose this to the IEA Expo. And some of these objectives were formulated at that time, which was mapping of the Carnot batteries technologies in the applications through the collection of information of electricity storage on electricity storage systems based on thermal energy storage. Also, the developing technology through key performance indicators for the Carnot batteries and systems and the components, of course. The critical assessment of the technological competitiveness, and the R&D demand or R&D needs, as we like to call it, and also helping the technologies to market and delimit the market reach by identifying the service that should and can be provided by the Carnot batteries. Also, a huge goal at the time was actually to informing the policy and providing a basis for proper regulations, which actually was missing at that time, and to really spread the word on the potential benefits of the Carnot batteries. And of course, the international dissemination of these technologies through different activities like workshops, white papers, and so on. So, what have we achieved so far? I mean, at the starting point, 2019, as I said already, there was a lot of lack of information about Carnot batteries. There was no international platform, and this took us to create this task 36 that fits very well with the framework of the IEA. The process was more or less like this. Since the task definition phase, it was 1 year. At that time, we had 2 meetings in which we started to invite different research institutions, and a lot of countries started to take place and to show they're interested in such a task. Afterwards, the task 36 was officially approved by the EXCO, and the first meeting took place, so the kickoff meeting, at the beginning of 2020 was I think it was at the beginning of the pandemic also. So the first meeting took place completely online and very improvised. Then we had a second meeting also online, and in between we also combined with a conference, with the second international workshop on Carnot batteries that at that time took also place in Stuttgart. For the third meeting, we combined this third expert meeting with a webinar that was coordinated by the University of Birmingham and the Super Gene Energy Storage Network. It was also online, and it was on topics on Carnot batteries. Then we had the fourth meeting that was combined with an industry workshop in Denmark. This meeting was already a hybrid meeting. And then the next 2 meetings were also hybrid. The first meeting took place in Graz in Austria, and the last meeting just a month ago took place in Stuttgart, and this was also again combined with the international workshop on Carnot batteries at the end of September. So with that meeting, we already finished all the expert meetings, and of course now we're preparing the final report. I'm going to say a few words on that later. So where are we now after this whole process, a little bit more than 3 years, considering the phase definition? So we have established a platform that's definitely done. I mean, all the participants are well connected, and they're working together, they are publishing together, which was actually one important goal for us. And now we're collecting and providing information for all the stakeholders. For that, we are generating a lot of different documentations, white papers, reports, and we're going to put everything together in the final report of the task. The structure of the task is more or less like this. We decided to have in the middle, a scientifically oriented group of subtasks. Subtasks A, B, and C, which are divided based on the thermodynamic cycle that we use for that. So the Rankine batteries, the Brighton batteries, and other concepts. These are very academic. So all of them are led by professors from universities. Then we have also a baseline, as we call it, which is the subtask 0, that is focused on the definitions, the KPIs, and so on of the Carnot batteries. So more or less try to unify all the concepts that we're using for the Carnot batteries and to make it like public like this, so everyone can use the same definitions. And on the other side, we have the market and policy-oriented subtask. So this subtask is more focused on having a look on the scenario, the current scenario, the policy and regulations that we have so far, and that what would be needed actually to push these technologies to the market and to get more funding for this type of technologies and so on. So in terms of participants and interest companies and organizations, we have 16 countries that are taking part of this task, and a lot of institutions, companies, and so on. I think I have some statistics afterwards. Exactly, yeah. So the statistics so far shows that, well, okay, 15 countries and one sponsor country from Spain. I mean, Spain doesn't, it's not a member of the TCP, if I'm not mistaken. That's why they cannot take part of this task officially, but they can, the institutions from Spain can sponsor the group, and that's how they can participate here, and that's what they are doing. So in total, we have more or less 150 contacts from 61 participating organizations. So we have, as I said, companies, universities, research centers, and agencies. So what results we have so far? We have actually a lot of results, and we're trying to organize all of them to put them together for the final report in a very understandable way. In the case of the subtask 0, the definitions, as I mentioned, we are still trying to finish very well, let's say, the definitions of the Carnot batteries. We have already define all the key performance indicators. We decided to use a method for that. And based on this method, we grouped the key performance indicators in 3 levels, let's say, systems, components, and materials. And for each of the levels, we also defined some of the key performance indicators. Here I'm only showing some examples, but there are way more than that. So we are going to also report this in the final document. Exactly. So also 2 white papers are being prepared within this subtask, the subtask 0. One of the papers is based on the state of the art of Carnot batteries, either in research state or commercially if they are available. And then we have another white paper on thermal energy storage technologies that are suitable for Carnot batteries. This is already done. I mean, I'm showing just here the first page of that. And this is going to be also included in the final report. We are deciding if we're going to include the whole white paper as a chapter or something like that, or at the end as an appendix, but it's going to be available for everyone. So also separately as white paper. So another great achievement from this task 36 was actually the publication of the Wikipedia page. And now it's available actually in 9 languages, as you can see here, English, German, Spanish, and so on, which covers almost 30% of first language speakers in the world. And the visits to these pages are actually very successful. And here we can show the accumulated visits to the page until August this year, which is 35,000. Which is, I think, quite impressive for such a specific topic. So that's another achievement or deliverable that we're proud of within this task. Going through the subtasks A, B, and C, since they were all focused on different types of Carnot batteries, and actually the transversal activities were very similar, we have decided to group them together for the final report and to actually check all the results in a transversal way. So here we are going to show in the final report, I'm not showing much yet, but in the final report, we're going to show very detailed explanation of each of the types of Carnot batteries. So a very concrete example about, for example, a Rankine battery, and also for the Brighton battery. And we're going to choose one concept that is that belongs to another concept that's not grouped either as a Rankine or a Brighton battery. And we're going to show all the technical aspects of this in detail in the final report. We have collected also a lot of fact sheets on Carnot batteries, on the whole systems, and also on the components that are suitable for Carnot batteries. We have so far more or less 30 fact sheets that have been delivered by the participants of the task. So they have been very productive. Here I'm showing just a couple of examples of those Carnot batteries. We can gather all the technical information of each of the either batteries as is or components, for example, thermal energy storage components for a Carnot battery. So that's also very valuable information, and we're going to include also this in the final report. Another type of fact sheet that have been collected within this task have been the modeling and simulation tools fact sheets. Here we had a lot of support from Denmark, from the DTU. And with this, what we can evaluate with this, it's different aspects. For example, what is the purpose of the modeling tools that the participants are using here? I mean, what kind of level they can evaluate with this? What's the scale they work on? The runtime, the limitations, if they are validated or no. So this is also very important database that we're collecting for this task. And we can compare also the activities that the other researchers have, and also try to collaborate with each other based on this information. So it's also a lot of, if I'm not mistaken, it's been like more than 30 fact sheets that have been collected on this topic. So also a report on R&D needs it's been developed within this task, and this is going to include also the TRL assessment of all the technologies that are available so far. This activity has been coordinated by University of Birmingham, UK, and it's going to be also available as a report as is, and also we're going to include this in the final report. And as a final result, let's say, from this task and all the work that we have been done in the group, we have the report of the subtask D that is focused on the market analysis, energy system, policy and regulations. And all the material that they have been collecting here is going to be grouped or a structure like I'm showing here. So they're going to focus on the challenges and solutions that we are facing right now. What can we do with the Carnot batteries, and what are the paths to success with this technology? And they are going to also discuss the IEA role in this area. So how can this be supported by the IEA and the agency, actually? So all this work has been coordinated by Dr. Bollinger from Malta Inc. in the United States. So he's working mainly with the companies that are participating into Task 36. Other highlights that we have achieved within this group that we're very proud of is the publications and reviews that have been delivered within the Task 36 by the participants. We have a large list of reviews that have been published, and all of them are published by participants of the Task 36. And this has been thanks to this task, actually. I mean, the year of publication, it's clear. I mean, it's within the formation of the Task 36 or the work. So that's actually something we are very proud of, because this group of has been very productive. And I think the work is going to continue because of the collaboration that they have established within this task. Another important achievement for us was the students exchange database within the task. We had a list actually online in our team site in which all the PhD students that were searching for a research to stay for the PhDs could actually put their information online. And on the other side, all the institutions that were searching for either master or PhD students were also offering their institution, and also some resources, sometimes even scholarships and so on. So one success story is one from Italy and the CNR, Italy, and University of Catania. We hosted actually a PhD student of the University of Catania that has been funded by CNR, Italy, and also from the IEA funding for the mobility study students. And she performed research stay in our institution for 3 or 4 months, working also on some evaluation of the Chester prototype that we have installed here. It's a European project. That the name is Chester. I guess some people know already this technology. She was working on some digital tools for this prototype. So she had access to a lot of information here. That was actually very good work that she performed here. And this was everything thanks to the task 36 network. So that was more or less it for the task 36, since it's already done and we're now only preparing the final report. We're also looking at the future, what's going to happen afterwards with this very successful network that we have established. We wouldn't like to just forget about this platform, and we would like to keep them actually this collaboration and all this topic, like to move forward with this topic. So we're working now on the proposal of the follow-up task, as we call it. We're going to open a little bit the vision of this task, but we're not going to focus only on power to heat to power systems, but we're going to also focus on power to heat for industry, for example. And of course, we're not going to dismiss the power to heat to power technologies. So now we're trying to really structure the potential content of this task, but we are already receiving some interesting people who are sending us emails. And so we can also provide more information. In any case, if you are interested on this, you just let us know. You can contact directly Annelies Farnesikel, the head of our department, or you can contact me if you would like to receive more information on this follow-up task. And yeah, we can just answer all your questions. So feel free to contact us if you have any questions. And that would be it from my side. Thanks for your attention. And if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Well, I'm coming back, and yeah, questions. Any questions on that? Please feel free to voice them or write them in the chat. Nothing yet?
I don't see any questions yet.
I don't see any questions either. That's well, if nobody has any questions, if this was obviously information enough for everyone.
I hope so.
In that case, well, thank you very much for being there. Thank you very much, Andrea, for telling us about task 36 and about I see one question. When will the report be available? The final report for task 36.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I mean, for us, let's say the deadline is March 23. So we have to submit the final report at that time, as next year. And I guess it's going to be available like mid of 23 or something like that. Yes, on the website of the TCP, Energy Storage TCP.
Yes, it will be there once it's finished. It will be uploaded. Right. Anyone else? Any other questions? Looks good. I don't see any movement in the list. I don't see anything in the chat. What will the time scale be on the next phase, including industry?
What do you mean exactly? What is the time scale?
Andrew, Tim, please.
Yeah, sorry, I was just wondering what you mean, like what the time. I'm not really involved in this generally, but I received an email and was very interested. I was just wondering what the timeline is like for this task, and what will be going on in terms of the kind of power to heat in industry, for example.
Yeah, okay. So we are expecting that the next EXCO meeting is in November, if I'm not mistaken. So we are expecting to have a green light to start the definition phase for this task. So if that's positive, then next year we might have 2 meetings for this. So one maybe in April, March, or something like that, and the second one maybe in autumn next year, to really structure very well the new task. And afterwards, the proposal should be submitted, and if everything works according to the plan, then on 2024, we should start officially the new task. So that's normally how it proceeds. And then 3 years after. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Another question answered. Anything else? Any more questions? Anyone else?
So I mean, if any questions come up afterwards, you feel free to send me an email, and yeah, I will be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, if you don't remember her email, send it to the yes TCP. We'll pass it on.
Yes.
Right. Since no one seems to be asking any more questions, and I'm always saying this quite slowly in order to give people time, but it doesn't look like it. We've heard a lot of interesting stuff. Thank you very much, Andrea, for telling us. Thank you very much, everyone else, for being here and listening. And I'd say that's it for today. Have a nice day and see you next time.
Thank you. Have a nice day too. Bye-bye.